Hi, everybody. I welcome you to today's session. This is going to be a personal session. It's a session that relates to many of us. It's a session that we are going to look back and say, you know what, I'm happy that I did read this, or I did join this, or I did do this. It's a session about failure. And the reason why this session is unique is because failure affects all of us. Failure affects all of us. We are all victims of failure. We are all have been affected by failure. And this is why we come to discuss failure today, so that we talk about dealing with failure. A lot of people have not dealt with failure very well. And because of that, a lot of people have sunk. They have sunk, of course, with the sadness and sorrows that come with failure. So, as we begin to discuss this amazing session about failure, I want you guys to tell me in the comment, tell me if you can hear me. Tell me in the comment if I'm clear. Tell me if my sound is okay. Tell me if you can hear me. That would be fantastic just to know that people can hear me. And of course, if you can, please share with those you care about. Right? They say sharing is caring. So let's face it. Many people have failed to face failure. And because of this failure to face failure, they keep attracting more failures in their lives. So let's face our failures so we can move forward. Right, so there we go. Tell me in the comment if you can hear me. Tell me in the comment if you can hear me. That would be very great. All right, so you tell me if you can hear me. Okay, fantastic. Okay, good. So I see. All right, good. Let's see. Oh, yeah, yes, I see. Actually says we are clear. All right, fantastic. It's good to know that I'm clear. So I come to you today to bring to you a personal. Okay, love says clear. All right, fantastic. It's good to see that. My pains is always good to see you. By the way, my pains, you've increased your points a lot. I was shocked when I checked them in the morning. So you are late, boss. Anyway, good morning. Oh, I'm late by a few minutes. Yeah. Sorry about that. No technical issues. Loud and clear. Little Grube Warriors, good to see you. Of course, we have Charles says good morning. Hi, Charles. Good to see you. Please share this with those who care about. All right. Okay, fantastic. It's good to know that I'm clear. It's good to know that you friends are following well, loud and clear. That's great. Okay. So now, what we want to talk about today is a story of failure, right? It's a story of failure, and it's one that speaks to many of us. Now, I want to tell you just a brief background of this guy here, whom you can see. His name is Thomas Edison. Okay, his name is Thomas Edison. This is the man that invented the light bulb. That's the man that invented the light bulb. Now, Thomas Edison had a very interesting discussion when he was asked about failure. Because if you look at Thomas Edison, friends, this man is undoubtedly one of the most prolific inventors of our lifetime. He has about 1,093 patents under his name alone. So his patented intellectual property about 1,093. He's invented over 1,093 things in his lifetime. And these things invented include, the phonograph. The phonograph, the motion picture cameras. It's the one we invented. And this most significant was the light bulb. This is the man that has done so much. Think about the photographs, the motion picture cameras, and of course the light bulb. And yes, Zesco has just cut us out. So I just disappeared. Okay. This is the man that invented the light bulb. Now, his light bulb invention wasn't an instant success. We know Thomas Edison from his great success with the light bulb. But his light bulb invention, guys, was not a instant success. He failed a lot. It shows the power of determination of him. So Thomas Edison tried 2,000 different materials in search of a filament for the light bulb. He tried 2,000 different materials. They were not working. Do you know how long it took him? It took him years. So Thomas Edison was one of those people that kept on trying. Now, the reason why we bring Thomas Edison here is that Thomas Edison is a very good example of how to handle failure. Because when those 2,000 different methods did not work, his assistant complained. And his team workers complained. They all said, "Oh, our work is in vain. We have learned nothing. We have spent so much money. Nothing is working. Nothing is improving. We have come a long way and we have learned a lot." That's what he said. While all his friends were complaining and they were ready to quit this project of a light bulb, Thomas says, "Oh, friends, we have come a long way and we have learned a lot. We now know that there are 2,000 elements which we cannot use to make a light bulb." That was his response. When all his team members were now fed up, they were upset, they were tired, they wanted to quit, he told them, they said, "We've learned nothing." But he says, "No, we have learned something. We've now discovered that there are 2,000 materials that can't be used in a light bulb." All right? So some of the interesting facts about Thomas Edison, that this guy was a teacher, right? He was a teacher. And one of his Edison's teacher once said that he was stupid to learn anything. Nobody believed in him. He was fired from his first 2 jobs for being non-productive. They said he was not productive, he was lazy. Actually, that's the worst form of dismissal. To dismiss you because the boss says you are not productive, you are lazy, or whatever it is that the boss thinks you are. So that's what his teacher, he was not a teacher, sorry, that was his teacher said. Now, as an inventor, Thomas Edison made 1,000 unsuccessful attempts at inventing the light bulb. This light bulb, which just went over a few minutes ago, because now we have been cheated. This guy tried 1,000 times inventing that light bulb, trying attempts to make it go on. It didn't work. Now, one of the outstanding moments of his life was when a reporter asked him, "How did it feel to fail 1,000 times? That's a lot of times to fail." Thomas looked at the reporter and he smiled and he says, "I didn't fail 1,000 times. The light bulb was an invention with 1,000 steps." That's what he said. This is why you see this famous quote here, which I've put from Thomas Edison himself, where he said, "I haven't failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work." So that was his attitude to failure. He looked at failure as a free consultant. He looked at failure as something that can help him come up. So yes, failure, friends, is inevitable in our life. We should rise up and should be afraid to fail. We can learn a lot from our failures and our successes. There's a lot of things we can learn from our own failures. Like Thomas Edison did, he says, "Not, I haven't failed 10,000 times. I've just found 10,000 ways that will not work. Now I know how not to do certain things." So I want to bring it to our locality, friends. What is? So I took a bit of some, right? I took a bit of time, and I went all the way I was looking at the Google definition of this word failure. And what I found interesting was that Google defines failure as lack of success. They did not define it in using so many words. Google simply said failure is lack of success. Now imagine this man lacked success over 10,000 times. He used over 2,000 materials that did not work, and he tried 1,000 times to attempt to light a light bulb. That did not work. And still, he was so positive about his failures. His co-workers, some of them quit. Some of them complained bitterly. Some of them thought he was too stupid to learn anything. Actually, his own teacher said he was too stupid to learn because his own teacher did not think this man was learning from his failures. But what kept him going? Because he knew that the outcome was far greater than the obstacles. And because he knew that he had it in here, he could see it in here, it helped him to keep going. Even though other people around him wanted to quit, were ready to criticize him. So, friends, think of it this way, right? The Google definition of failure says it's lack of success. So, just like Thomas Edison, do not be overly disappointed when you fail, right? Because that is going to discourage you. So, when you are dealing with failure, like I've already mentioned here, personally, when I think of failure, it means more than just mere lack of success. Like Google says, it's a lack of success, but how do I look at it personally myself? Failure affects our whole entire being, friends, and it has the potential to eliminate us from the land of the living if not properly handled. People have committed suicide because of failure. People have quit marriages because of failure. People have quit school because of failure. People have quit business because of failure. People have quit a lot of things in their lives that could have changed their lives forever because they failed, they became uncomfortable, and they were unable to bear the shame of failure. So, failure has the power to take us out of the land of the living, not properly handled. And this is like we saw about because failure makes us feel less valuable. It makes us feel incompetent, makes us feel useless, less admired, less appreciated, and more often than not, makes us feel and think that we are not good enough. I'm not good enough. Some people even hate themselves because they failed. I'm a failure. How can I fail the exam 5 times? I'm a failure. I've been divorced 3 times. I'm a failure. I can't keep any relationship. I'm a failure. I can't achieve a thing. I can't achieve any goals. I said, I'm a failure. So some people now have decided to just even name call themselves because they've failed at something. So failure, friends, has killed many beautiful dreams that death ever did because it takes away the zeal, that zeal within us, that spark that makes us wake up in the morning and want to do more is instantly killed by failure if not properly handled. So our zeal inside us dies while we're still alive. That's the danger of failure. So just think about the pain a man has to go through for failing to provide for his family. You are a dad. You come back home, you have no food, nothing, because life is hard. You have no job, nothing. Your children have complete faith in you. They trust and believe that dad is going to provide. You come back, you have nothing to do with it. That, friends, is failure. And that can be very depressing. Because no parent wants to see their kids hungry, or no husband wants to see his wife suffering and struggling and have nothing to go to the salon, no food at home. No dad, no man wants that. But when a man can't provide, that can cause a lot of anxiety. It makes you feel less important, it makes you have low self-esteem, and you begin to complain about literally anything and everything because you feel people don't understand you and things like that. Think about that. Think about the trauma one has to go through when they contract an incurable disease because they failed to protect themselves. Think about the pain of having to be infected by somebody you trusted so much, and then you, because you are so out of your mind or whatever that was, you couldn't protect yourself and you are infected. Think about the pain that one's got to go through when they are experiencing that kind of a thing. That too is failure. Think about the embarrassment that comes from being divorced. Just think about that. Divorce for failing to sort out an issue that you could have handled, that could have ended very well. But because of you had some pride at the time, you didn't think straight, you didn't take the advice that people gave you, and then you end up being divorced. And now you live for a very long time regretting, wishing you had taken the advice. Failure to take the advice that could have helped you. Think about the pain of seeing your own child taking a very different course in life, becoming a prostitute, becoming a criminal, or becoming something that brings constant shame to you and your family. As a parent, you begin to blame yourself. I should have done this maybe. I should have done that maybe, because you feel you failed to raise your child in a certain way. So failure can depress you if not properly handled. Failure as a way of taking you out of the land of the living. So think about the shame and embarrassment that comes with, just that comes having your personal assets taken away from you because you failed to pay your debt. And all your neighbors know you've not paid your debt. Your TV, your freezer, and everything in your house has been taken away from you, including your house. Now you're homeless, you're jobless, you have nothing. Think about that embarrassment that's coming because of failing to do what you should have done. Think about the pain of having to fail an exam several times. You think you're dumb. You think you're not smart. You think you just wasted money. You are imbalanced. Your friends are progressing. You begin to hate yourself. So when that hate begins to grow, your subconscious, your own mind begins to fight. You begin to look down upon yourself. Before you know it, you become suicidal. Think about the pain of getting pregnant before being married to somebody you trusted so much, and then they refuse to marry you. And you have to raise the child alone. You become a laughing stock in the community. Everybody talks about you. Think about the pain, the emotions we have to go through for failing to keep our own promises. You promised you're going to do something because you strongly believed it was going to work, and then it's forced to work. Maybe it's in a big banking group. You borrowed people's money. You were sure you get paid and you pay them back. Before you know it, your company can't pay, you failed to pay, and now you're getting embarrassed, you're being posted on social media, you're being treated as a crook and things like that. Think about all those emotions that we have to go through. Think about the failure of not being able to do the right thing and invest. Think about the fear of being kicked out of your congregation because you committed a very serious sin, and now you've been kicked out of the congregation or out of your church. That too is failure. It's very painful, very embarrassing. So what I'm trying to tell you here, friends, that failure has no better definition, because either way, failure can destroy us. Failure in any form is not good. It's not a good thing because it has the potential to bring us down. And if not properly handled, there's the potential, yes, to take us out of the land of the living. Even worse, failure can make us become even temperamental, become bitter with almost everybody and everyone around us. Failure is contagious. It can make people run away from you because you've become bitter and you don't know it. So this is why today I come to you, friends, and I say, let's talk about dealing with failure. How do we deal with failure? Because failure is real. We fail. As long as you are alive, you are going to fail at something. So how do you deal with failure? What do you do to deal with failure? How do you deal with this thing? So let's look at it this way, friends. Okay? Let's look at it this way. The best way to deal with failure, because the ability to handle failure makes you more suicidal. No one is more dangerous than somebody who does not know how to handle failure. A lot of people don't handle failure or become very suicidal. When you can't handle failure, you're extremely suicidal. You are a danger to yourself and to those around you, because failure can make you do stupid things. So I want you to know that failure does not decrease your value, but rather a catalyst to help you see areas where you need to improve. Failure should help you to see areas where you must improve and do better next time. Let failure be your guiding light to a world of possibilities. Don't let your failure bring you down. Have a healthy view of number one, failure, and number two, of yourself. People who have an inflated view of themselves don't believe it when they fail. They just can't believe it. They think so. When you think so highly of yourself, it affects how you handle failure. because you think you're too good to fail. You think it's an embarrassment. This is bad. Yes, it is bad, but have a healthy view of failure and yourself. All the great people that you've seen today, they've failed 1,000 times. I've just given you an example of Thomas Edison, who failed thousands and thousands of times, but yes, he still remains one of the world's greatest inventor to ever walk the earth. This is the man that failed several times. His teacher told him he was stupid enough to learn anything. He couldn't learn. He was down. His employees, his co-workers left him. They said, no, we can't be doing this. This thing will not work. And yet today is the one who is more celebrated. When there's no power, the world is on standstill. Because we need the power. So have a healthy view of it. Now, when you fail at something, do not be overly disappointed, because that's a trap that brings you down. When you fail, instead of being overly disappointed, take it as a free consultation. Take it as a free consultant to help you to do better next time. If you have to cry about it. If you must complain if you must. But one thing you must not do is allow failure to define your tomorrow. Everybody you see has failed. Some people, you never know what they have failed at because they conceal their failures and they are okay talking about your failures. People have done worse things than you. If you are to be told, if you knew, you would be shocked. So have a healthy view of yourself and failure. This will help you to accept the fact that you are not perfect and making mistakes is a part of that. You must accept your mistakes and take necessary steps to learn and come out stronger than before. Some evil people are going to come back and use your past mistakes, use your past failures to discredit your present time. And I want to tell you something. That's not how God looks at you. Other people may freeze us into their time frame. Let's say you used to be a prostitute some time back, and people knew you as such. And you've now changed. You're a whole different person. But there are some people who still look at you as a prostitute. Even to this day, when you've changed, you've done everything possible to live a clean life. But there are people who still discredit you. Like, you know what? You can't marry this woman. This one is a whore. This man is a Casanova. He's a thief. Because for them, in their own time frame, they've frozen you. But that's not how God looks at us. God is very positive. He's always hoping that we're going to do the right thing. He's always expectant that better is possible so long we are alive. He's always giving us a chance to get back to Him. He has such a very positive view of us. So at the end of the day, really, it's not about what other people may think of you. There are people who are so self-righteous that they think they've never failed. Even those who've done bigger things than you, they'll keep talking about your failures as if you've done the worst thing in the world. But they have their own kids who've done worse. They themselves have done worse. They don't talk about themselves. They talk about you because they want to use your past to discredit you. Now, once that gets into your head, you become distracted. You fail to move forward because now you begin to feel embarrassed. Imagine you used to be a whore, and then now you've changed. And then you want to read the Bible to somebody who knows that you used to be a prostitute, used to be this whore. Imagine how hard that must be. They'll look at you and they'll just shake their head. So what can you tell me? I know about you. I know the life you've lived. But do not worry. Look how God looks at you. God focuses on the steps, the changes you've made, and now you're living your current life. God is very positive about you. So guys, I want you to know that failure and success speak the same language. And they both have the same capacity to change our lives. But one big difference between them is that success is more often than not failure's child. It is failure that gives birth to great success. Without failure, there can never be greatness. So greatness is a product of failure. So if you fail, and I guarantee you will fail at something. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be next year, it could be whatever it is. But so long you are alive, failure is a part of your life. It is failure that is going to make you look more beautiful. It is failure that is going to make you look back and thank yourself that, you know what, I learned my lessons and I made the changes and I'm happy for who I have become today. It is fair that makes us look at someone in similar strength. God will tell them, you know what, do not give up. Because we've been there, we understand. I told you last time that when I was kicked out of my house because I couldn't pay rent, I failed to pay my own rent. I was traumatized for a very long time. My things are outside. I didn't mind to pay rent. That was fair. So when I see somebody in a similar situation, I can both look at them and say, you know what, I've been through this, do not worry, it's going to be better. Try this. This is what I tried, and this is what I did, and I came out of this issue. So failure makes you transfer wisdom, makes you a reservoir of wisdom if you accept to learn from your own failures. You may have impregnated somebody that through failure. Do not let your past mistakes define your today. Your today must be better than your yesterday. So look at failure as a gift or a warning that reminds you of the possible outcome if you take the same road. I want you to always remember, friend, that it's okay to fail, right? What's not okay is refusing to learn from your failures. We all have failed, and so long we are alive, we'll continue to fail, and that's what makes us so beautiful and life so meaningful, because we get to learn not only new things but also how not to do certain things. Like Thomas Edison said, I did not fail. I just discovered 10,000 ways that will not work. That's what failure must do to us. It must teach us how not to do certain things. Not just how to do things, but how not to do certain things. So failure is indeed painful, but afterwards, it builds visible fruits of righteousness to those who have been trained by it. So for you to benefit from your failures, you must be willing to be teachable and learn from your failures. Take it as a free consultation when you fail. Learn from your failures. So my words to you is that after everything is said and done, I want you to always remember that failure has two outcomes. It's either it makes you wiser than before or more stupid than before. The choice is yours. But I suggest you choose wisdom. Let me repeat that. Failure has two outcomes. It's either it makes you wiser than before or more stupid than before. The choice is yours. And I suggest you choose wisdom. Because yes, friends, it is failure that shapes us into desirable objects that makes us look so beautiful, so much so that it's almost as if we never failed before. When somebody looks at us and says, you know what, these guys are enjoying themselves, guys, it's failure that shapes us into these beautiful, desirable objects. So failure will shape you if you allow yourself to be humble enough to learn from your mistakes, to own up. Do not be embarrassed or be ashamed of your mistakes, your past mistakes. So failure is indeed a good thing if you have a positive mindset and a positive attitude in life. And there's one more thing though. You may have repented. Maybe you did something wrong in the past, you messed up big time, and more often than not, your own heart can even begin to condemn you for something that you did in the past years. You may have done something really terrible. Your family members are talking about you, your church or your congregation or people else, they are talking about you because you've messed up. I want to read for you this scripture from 1 John chapter 1. 1 John chapter 3, verses 20. It's one scripture that has helped me to find comfort and also just to understand just the love that God Jehovah has for all of us. 1 John 3, verses 20. This is what I love about this scripture. It's assurance from God, and it says, regarding whatever our hearts may condemn us in, because God is greater than our hearts and knows all things. You get that? Let me read that scripture again. 1 John 3:20. It says, regarding whatever our hearts may condemn us in, because God is greater than our hearts and knows all things. God is bigger than our hearts. God knows our limitations. He knows our weaknesses. He knows that sometimes we may fall short of His glory. He understands. It's not some hard-headed being who's going to freeze you in their own time frame, thinking that they're the only ones changing. That's not how God looks at you. Some other people think they're the only ones making changes in their lives. They're the only ones doing the right thing. They don't think you're changing too. They freeze you in their own time frame. But God says, you know what? I am bigger than your heart. Even though your own heart may condemn you, do not worry. I have your back. Because I'm bigger than your heart. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't it just wonderful to just know that, you know what? God is there for me, and God is bigger than my heart, and God's going to have my back. Yes, I've failed, but I've repented, and I've done my part, and God knows I've done the right thing. So, for me, any points on, guys? When you fail, many points on. Don't let failure hurry you. It's okay to fail. What's not okay is to allow failure to control your entire life. Some of the people who bully you because of your failures, they're just people who are insecure about their own lives. So they find comfort in knowing that somebody else failed. There are people who find comfort in knowing that you failed because they feel comforted by your failure. So they bully you, they talk about you for them to feel better about their situation. They use you as a reference point, as a means of comforting themselves for their own failures. So I want you to really think about this scripture about failure as we go. Yes, John 3 verses 20. I'm going to read it again, and it really says, guarding whatever our hearts may condemn us in, because God is greater than our hearts and knows all things. So sometimes your own heart can condemn you because you failed. Your own heart can bully you. Your own heart can make you feel insignificant, insecure, and make you feel useless. But God says, you know what? I am bigger than your heart. I know your heart, and I have your back. Friends, isn't that so beautiful? That even when we fail, even when we've messed up, and we move on, we make changes in our lives, God can see through our hearts, because the Bible says He is greater than our hearts and knows all things. So even when our own hearts are condemning us for what we did in the past, God says, do not worry. At the end of the day, what matters is how God looks at you, not how other people look at you. Other people always have an opinion of you, and more often than not, it's not a good one. So don't worry so much about people who would rather make a name out of your mistakes. Focus on progress over perfection. Every time you do the right thing, celebrate it. It's a good step in the right direction. So yes, past mistakes and failure can hinder your future progress. So the moment you begin to learn how to handle failure and how to handle your past mistakes, it's going to help you improve your self-esteem, but also going to also help you appreciate God's love for you. Because God does not freeze you in His time frame like other people do. They freeze you. They still look at you as a prostitute, as a thief, as a liar, as a whatever thing that they thought you used to do some 5 years ago. But God says, no, I don't look at you like that. I don't. Take comfort in knowing that I'm greater than your heart and I know all things. And I'm going to hold you by your right hand. I'm going to help you. I'm going to clean your sins. And I'm going to bless you. No amount of witchcraft, no amount of cases are going to hinder God's blessings over your life. So yes, you are going to fail, but if you don't learn how to handle your past mistakes, you will burn yourself. So as I leave you, friends, I want to look at this response from Thomas Edison, who said, I haven't failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That's the positive attitude to life. So I'm very grateful that you friends joined me for this session. I thought I should come through and just talk to you about failure and how to deal with failure and one thing as I conclude, failure has two outcomes. Either it makes you wiser than before, or it makes you more stupid than before. The choice is yours. But I advise you, choose wisdom. Look at failure as a free consultancy to help you do better next time. Let failure be a guiding light of what the outcome could be if you take the same road. So long you're alive, you will fail. That I can guarantee. All of us will fail. So the difference is how you respond to your own failures. So friends, thank you very much for joining me. You are such an amazing audience. I'm so blessed to have people like you. People that always bring constructive comments, constructive questions and contributions. And of course, I've seen a number of you have shared with your loved ones, and of course, that's just so amazing. Thank you very much, Sandy Rosarin. It's good to have you. Thank you very much, Wezi Laptis. Good to have you. And Checks, so amazing to have you, friends. Thank you so very much. It's good to see you. All right, so I'm very, very grateful for you joining me this afternoon, Charles. This afternoon, it's morning, it's still morning. Thank you for joining me, friends. I hope that this session, Mapenzi, helps you. Mr. Derek, thank you so much for joining me. I hope this session helps somebody out there to have a better view of failure and a better view of past mistakes and the way of doing better next time. We all have failed. If only you knew some of the things we have done in our lives, some of the failures we've been through, and some of the people you think are better than you, if you knew what they have done, you would thank yourself. So don't worry. There are people who have failed and they look so good. They will handle failure very well. Don't be embarrassed. It's okay to fail. What's not okay is to let failure dictate your future. That's what's not okay. Don't allow failure to dictate your present and your future. So thank you very much, friends. Have an amazing day. And I wish you well. I wish you God's blessing. May God bless you. May He fulfill you. And may you find love, peace, and joy. Bye-bye.